So hello, everyone. Welcome to today's Water Cooler Chat, where we talk about all things Livepeer, whether it's transcoding, delegating, orchestrating, developing, AI inference, anything to do with the Livepeer network. We're here to ask questions and get answers. So we got an agenda ahead of us. We got a Q&A session with the founder, one of the co-founders of Livepeer, Doug, who's going to be walking us through the introduction of Cascade. Cascade is a kind of a roadmap, I guess, initiative for what to look forward to on the Livepeer network. I did read the whole article, and I've got some questions set aside. But before we jump into that, I'd like, Doug, if you could take it away, explain to us what Cascade is, what the motivation behind it is, and what we could expect as a community.
Yeah, definitely. So for those who have been sort of following along with Livepeer over the years, we've been following this sort of loose roadmap towards decentralization and project success that was communicated, from the beginning. We've been, adapting and making changes along the way. We've gone through a number of sort of network phases, if you will, starting with all sort of code named after different elements of the water cycle. So we've had the snow melt phase and the stream flow phase and the delta phase and heading eventually towards the ocean phase. I thought it was an interesting moment and a point in time to sort of bundle together a bunch of what we're working on and introduce the idea for sort of the next phase to really focus the community around pulling together towards one specific thing. And really it's about opportunity and taking advantage of a exciting opportunity that I think a lot of us see for where Livepeer can make a huge impact. So I put out a post. I shared the link over in the chat over there, called Introducing Livepeer Cascade, a vision for Livepeer's future in the age of real-time AI video. I think I'd encourage everyone to click through the link. It's kind of a long read, maybe a 10, 15-minute read. There's going to be lots of, bite-sized content coming out and Twitter threads and tweets and little summary posts, over the next couple of months that make it a little more accessible. But at a high level, I think everyone who's been paying attention to Livepeer over the years know that we have this highly reliable, scalable transcoding network made up of a lot of GPUs run by all the node operators here on this call and beyond. That's been mostly used through end-to-end streaming applications, and live streaming in particular drives a lot of usage. A lot of that has come through the Livepeer Studio and streaming platform, and a couple other gateways, if you will, that have built direct on the network, though the majority still comes through this, the Studio platform. The last, almost year now has been pretty exciting as our network and our community has realized, oh, we can actually take advantage of these GPUs for far more than just transcoding within a streaming platform. We can actually use them for AI inference, and think about how AI is going to affect video in the future and media in the future in general. So did a great job through the launch of the AI subnet and sort of migrating that into the beta and Livepeer AI of running inference on image generation models and video generation models, and increasingly now LLMs and other forms of AI media inference that are coming. And that's been great. It's created more job types, more fees, some exciting use cases from some of the startups in the startup program. And that's a great foundation. But I think as we've looked at and really questioned, hey, what's Livepeer's unique opportunity here? Where is Livepeer suited to actually be a leader and deliver an incredible product that's differentiated by the strengths and superpowers of the Livepeer community? Is it in just transcoding in a cost-effective manner? Is it in generic AI inference, just because it could theoretically be cost-effective and decentralized? Maybe. I think there's definitely the potential for those opportunities. We've seen them, be adopted and grow steadily and lead to growth on the network. But at the same time, we haven't seen them be so differentiated and so compelling that you have, thousands of developers lining up at the gates trying to get their hands on the Livepeer network to enable something new and exciting in their application that didn't exist before. Um, so we really have been just thinking about and honing in on, where does Livepeer have this superpower? Where does it have a unique advantage? Where can it take advantage of the strength of its network and software to deliver something that is a leader where you will have thousands of developers lining up to use? And the Cascade proposal makes the case for, if we, as a community and project, lean into the area of, what I'm dubbing real time AI video. There we have that unique and really exciting opportunity where we can have an advantage and be a leader and build really compelling product. And I'm happy to dive in and answer questions and explain that in detail. But when you know, just to give everyone an overview, when I talk about real-time AI video, I think the key differentiator there is thinking about how AI is going to be applied in a live context or a streaming context. It's where, you know, video is coming in, like a live stream is coming in, an AI model um, needs to be run on it, or I shouldn't even say an AI model, I should say a pipeline that chains together AI models and code and transformations that are making changes to that video in real time, enhancing it in real time, doing analysis on it in real time, and then that live stream is emitted with low latency for consumption in real time. And I think that area of real time AI video is something that's new. It's just becoming possible. Um, you know, with the sort of emergence of open source models and frameworks and developer tools to build against those powerful GPUs to process this, and it's an area where Livepeer is really, well suited to have an advantage because we already have this end-to-end low latency streaming stack that knows how to speak video and ingest video and encode video and perform compute on video and serve video in real time. And that's something that the really crowded world of other AI platforms out there really don't have. Um, I will say one more thing, then I'll pause and we can dive into all the details, maybe, as moderated by Titan in Q&A. I would say the exciting thing about this area of um, sort of building a leading real-time AI pipeline platform and community is that it's not just technical infrastructure alone. I think it's the community is as or more important than just the technology and the infrastructure and the cost of compute. I think that this is a new and innovative area, and innovations are going to come by the community, like experimenting with what it means to build real-time AI pipelines, chaining different models together, running different forms of processing, you know, creating different pipelines for different use cases. I think that means Livepeer can be well suited to be a home for all that innovation. I think I already see it happening in our community now in our Discord and you know the AI video channel, the memes channel, the AI creations channel, the uh, orchestrator logo generation competition. You see this community pattern of all of our node operators and tinkerers and innovators and creators showing up to sort of try different models, showcase output, share tips and insights. And I think there's no home for that when it comes to this new area of real-time AI video pipelines yet. And I think Livepeer has a really great opportunity to do that and is well suited to do that. And so I think it's an area where we can really be a leader and build a leading community and build some momentum around that. And ultimately, where does this take us? We all want to see the GPUs humming. We want to see fees on the network 10x, 100x, 1000x. We want to see the momentum within the community, grow tremendously, while maintaining the values and culture that we have and care about. And I think, the focus on this unique opportunity is pretty exciting and creates the opportunity for that. So lots to dive into. Let me pause and Titan, I'll pass it back to you for questions and moderation.
Yeah, definitely. That's an exciting introduction, and thank you for putting in the time, putting out the post, and steering the network towards more use cases and products and availability of different resources and things like that. So it's awesome to see. If anyone in the community has questions, please, as I always remind you, please write it down, put them in the chat, or write them down so you can ask them, so you don't forget about them. I'm gonna do a couple things. I'm gonna go through a couple of items that popped out to me as I read through, and so the first item is going to be around the phases, the I guess it's the phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 of this roadmap, and the first one being the playground. So the playground, I guess, is supposed to be a a demo of sorts of what is capable with the network. Um, Doug, is this going to be built by Livepeer Inc., the playground? What can we expect of the playground? Walk us through exactly what phase 1 looks like.
Yeah, sure thing. So I think you might be able to see I just did a screen share of the post itself. Um, little small, but yeah, as you alluded to, I think I highlighted three phases for Cascade. The first is to create this interactive playground for real-time AI video pipelines. The second is to maybe expand the ways that people can contribute pipelines into this playground gallery. And the third is to actually focus on the scalable developer experience so people can integrate all these pipelines into their applications at scale, use the infrastructure at scale of the network. And so what is the playground here? Maybe it helps to see a couple examples that are not focused on real-time AI video. I think there's two that I reference and link to in the post. One is called Civitai, and it's basically a creator community for publishing sort of creative diffusion model outputs and LoRa's. So you have all of these sort of base foundation models like Stable Diffusion that exist out there. They get published onto AI platforms like Hugging Face. Anyone can run them. But then you have these communities like Civitai where developers say, "Oh, I created a LoRa on top of Stable Diffusion that specializes in generating anime outputs or cartoonish outputs or maybe super realistic HD type outputs." And they publish these different models or LoRa's or pipelines you could call them into these tools. And then there's sort of a playground experience that lets people try them out. So you can show up to these tools and you can type a prompt and you can generate the output that you're looking for. And you can almost like use them or play with them in the showcase gallery playground. There's also a compelling sort of social and identity element. So the models get rated, you can rate them with stars, you can leave comments, and the best developers, creators that publish these sort of build up a reputation and they get recognition in the community, right? And it's pretty exciting. It sort of encourages collaboration and innovation. Another example is Hugging Face. They have Hugging Face spaces, and very similarly, people can publish models or workflows of all different types into this gallery. They have identity attached, and people can show up and they can, through a UI, press buttons to run these. So these are great concepts, and they have so much developer activity around them and really fast growth. What these don't focus on is video in general. So the experience is not great for interacting with video, but they especially don't focus on real-time video, right? And real-time AI video. You can imagine the user experience for trying out a live video workflow might look a lot different than just like typing a prompt and generating an image. You might need a bunch of live streams as sample inputs to try and run through against the model and pipeline and see the output. You might need different ways to share the output videos into social media or into Discord channels or communities. You might want to go live from your own webcam in order to, or your own virtual camera to ingest your own feed to try these things out. And so, I think phase one for, Cascade is proposing that, we as a project build a playground that showcases the most beautiful and interesting live AI models, whether they're, creative use cases like, this example that I put in the post of, sort of you're live streaming, but you're replacing yourself with an avatar instead of, yourself as output, or, maybe more analysis-based use cases. So here's like, a soccer match being analyzed by a model in real time that can, uh, share statistics or do something useful that's actionable, right? I think all of these can be like shown off and usable and played with in real time, and then people who create their own pipelines or tweak these things can actually publish them into back into the playground so others can try them and show off the outputs and you know maybe even in a little bit of a competitive way try and one up each other and create better effects and better models, and that's where you see a lot of community momentum. So that answers, I think, the first part of your question. I think you also asked, hey, is the live peer core team, the live peer Inc. team going to be building and working on this playground? Um, yes, absolutely. The sort of product team within uh, Live Peer Inc. that's devoted a lot of attention to the product of Live Peer Studio is going to, I think shift a lot of attention to running at in the next, um, you know, 6+ weeks or so, creating the first version of this playground, making it not so much as like a, a product, not like a commercial product the way Studio has been so far, but more of a tool or a public good gateway or entry point to access these capabilities of the live peer network and community. And so definitely the product team will be developing that as a high priority. It's the sort of the nearest term milestone. But where I would say, the whole ecosystem comes in is okay, they can create an interface for using and exploring and running these, but the actual live pipelines need to be created and contributed to and tested and run and shown off by our whole ecosystem. And so I know that I think some of the SPEs are super well suited to be um, contributing both to the build but also to the pipeline creation and other aspects.
Very cool. Yeah, I'm excited to see, and play around with the playground as soon as it's released, and and different kind of primitives around live video and AI within that, rather than just static prompting or the current setup. With that being said, I noticed there's an area around use cases, and what was interesting is the use cases were not around, another Twitch or another. It was like a lot of the examples were around, really business type, problems, real estate, insurance, moving survey, interior design. Yeah, there's lots of items here, which I find fascinating. What type of use cases? I mean, obviously, you probably won't be able to predict what is going to be the killer app that needs, live streamed AI. But what are some of these examples of use cases? How did you come up with these use cases? And give us some examples of what the ideation was of these.
Yeah, really good question. So I think the sort of framework here is there's like three different categories of use cases off the cuff. There's content creation, there's video agents, and there's real time analysis. Right. So I think those are three big categories. Where'd that come from? Eric, my co-founder and our head of sort of product engineering, go to market, is has done had hundreds of conversations in the AI market, talked to hundreds of companies, and really tried to do like a market survey and understand where the world's going when it comes to real time AI. I'll also give the caveat, like real-time AI video pipelines is a bet on the future. Um, as you alluded to, like, what are the killer apps and killer applications and use cases going to be? The world doesn't exactly know yet. We don't know what the killer content creation use case is going to be that breaks out, or the killer analysis use cases, because this technology is so new, the models are so new, that it's going to take some product vision and some development iteration and startup funding and whatnot before you find out what the successes are. When you look across these categories, yeah, content creation, I think one that's very, very logical and obvious in terms of what's possible. I think it's less obvious in terms of, hey, how does it make sense economically? Does it help make money? These sorts of things. So, you have tons of live streamers. They can use AI to do radical things like, completely replace themselves, but they can also like enhance their streams with AI. Like they can make objects in their streams clickable or recognizable, or add visual effects or increase the quality, right? And you could all imagine how that helps their content be more interesting and more consumable, or create new experiences, right? Um, I think I'll come back to agents in a second. I think real-time analysis, this one is where it's much easier to like connect the dots to dollar, like business value and dollars, right? Like if you have a live stream and there's any benefit to it being monitored or observed or analyzed instantly, so that you can react to things on the fly, or you can make investment decisions, or you can react with safety um, actions or something, you can you can see how that would be really useful, right? So imagine like traffic cameras monitoring interstates and AI automatically noticing when there is an accident or traffic, or something that needs to be responded to. How useful and valuable that can be. There's a sports use case where you something that was only accessible to professional, high budget teams previously, now will be accessible to any high school or college coach with a webcam that's pointing at the field. Um, in terms of analyzing what's going on and reacting to real-time information. So, you know, countless obvious business use cases there. Um, the one that I think is kind of forward-thinking and interesting, a little more creative, is this concept of video agents in real-time communication. So, imagine we're in a chat like a Zoom or a Google Hangout, um, but there's an extra participant in that chat, which is an AI agent, and maybe they're interacting in real time, in terms of like representing someone else who couldn't be present, or they are, providing sort of customer service or fact checking or insights. I think those are interesting use cases. One that we've seen an example from another company out there is like moving companies. Instead of like sending people to your home to give you a quote, now you can just like enter a Google Hangout, and you can hold up your phone and like point it around your house or apartment, and the like AI will analyze the video in real time to identify like you have two beds and a desk and like four chairs and you know plants, and it'll be like making an inventory and issuing like price quotes back in terms of how much it'll cost to move in real time. And they're just using this like real time AI video analysis to be able to do that. And you imagine how much money that saves versus sending people, live to do that. And so you're already seeing these use cases make their way into the market.
Excellent. Yeah, no, this really really cool, and I'm glad to see that Livepeer is positioning itself as like not not going after the things that already exist, but rather positioning itself for what could be, and building out those new ideas and being there ready to capture the new ideas as they come up. So yeah, that's really really cool. Um, Osmond says, "Do these models even exist, though?" Doug, do you want to try to
Yeah,
answer
my
that?
response was yes. The soccer example that you see there was actually, I believe this demo was built and is running in LivePeer software. Um, just sort of this prototype already using completely open and accessible model for player tracking around a field in soccer games. The real estate example that I mentioned, yes, already exists and companies do that and use it. And so, yeah, it's all early, but like the pace of innovation that we're seeing in terms of these models coming available and being ready is tremendous. So, yeah, betting on the future. There's use cases that'll work today and be exciting when it comes to more tinkering and creative use cases. And then, we're going to see more and more in the next 6 months, 12 months. And again, I think the opportunity here is if we lean in, if we make a bet on the future, if we have a platform that works really well for the context of live well before everyone else, then we can be a leader as these use cases really emerge.
Very cool. Sandra, you had a question. Do you wanna ask it? Or shall I read out your question? Yeah, here you go.
No, that's fine. Hey, Dob. So real-time
I
analytics is a huge market, and I was just wondering how far is the protocol? I know you just mentioned this soccer game short video that you have. There's actually Livepeer is doing that right now. I was just wondering if there's any more demos that we could see to sort of understand how far the protocols come with regards to real-time analytics.
um Good question. Do I have more demos to show in real-time analytics? Uh, I think I don't have a demo handy off the cuff, and I do think it's worth distinguishing a prototype running in Livepeer software versus the protocol and the network. I think the like getting this all running successfully with low latency on the Livepeer network itself is what this next 6 to 8 weeks running up against the sort of mid-December target for when we want to have this playground ready is about, right? I think um, just solving some of the issues like uh, real-time stream ingestion, payments on live streams as you're processing AI and stuff is the network level software updates that are being worked on and need to be made, which is a little different than sort of a prototype within one node and an off-chain mode, just showing that the models are running within the context of our software. So definitely work to do on the live peer side, but that's what the next 6 to 8 weeks are about running at this milestone.
Nice, good stuff.
Excellent. Like I said, if you do have any questions, please write them down in chat. And we can get around to them. So, Doug, my next question was around this notion of the reference to community being a really large part of kind of this roadmap. Whereas there's been other kind of technical updates or upgrades that have been primarily around the tech. It seems like there's a lot of community oriented, verbiage and focus on the benefits of it. Can you tell us what the strengths of the community is, what the involvements are, and kind of how that plays into this Cascade roadmap?
Yes, definitely. This was something that was kind of hard to communicate in the post, but really excited to talk about it and get feedback from our community and everything as well. So first of all, quick little plug. There's a Discord event scheduled tomorrow where Eric is going to be doing a sort of research back on the Comfy UI community, which is one of the most active and fervent communities when it comes to pushing the boundaries of sort of power usage of diffusion models and image generation models and whatnot. And it's actually, if we get into the weeds of how in this first milestone, how people will create real-time video pipelines, it's going to be through a Comfy UI sort of enhancement that we build that extends Comfy UI to support like live video in and emit live video out instead of just sort of text or image in and image out like it supports now. And so um, I would encourage everyone to join that can make it to join that Discord event tomorrow or watch the recording because you'll really get a sense of the product, and more importantly, you'll learn about how big and fervent and active the Comfy UI community is, how much momentum there is, and why sort of tapping into that in a similar approach could be viable for Livepeer. So that aside, why does community matter? here and how is it central to Cascade? So I think when you look at these cutting edge areas of AI, before people know how they're going to be used in businesses that scale and integrated into applications, most of the activity is centered around what I would say is like developer, hacker, tinkerer, creator communities that are playing with the technology and innovating with it almost for fun or for their hobby and to kind of show off what they're creating, they build credibility, one up each other in terms of how good their outputs can be or how creative their outputs can be. And you've seen that across all of the fervent like Discord and Reddit communities that are constantly tinkering with and showing off the outputs. You're seeing it in, Civitai and Hugging Face and Comfy UI, some of the examples that I just shown. The way that momentum gets built is through like communities having fun and supporting one another and one-upping one another and innovating together. And then what happens is all those developers, creators, hacker, tinkerers, like some of them work at companies that are building products and want to integrate with it. Some of them start companies and build products and want to integrate that technology and begin to use it at scale. But of course they're using like the models and platforms from the Hugging Faces, and they're using the Comfy UI workflows to power their applications and whatnot, because that's the tools they're building on, and that's the platforms that work at scale. And that's where the momentum and activity is. And so when we think of a really new area like real-time AI video pipelines, I think it's important that uh, like Livepeer itself as a community can be the home where all of that innovation occurs, and um, that's a big opportunity, because if this is the community where everyone is learning and supporting one another and innovating and publishing these workflows. And the Livepeer network is where they're all deployed, they all run. And by the way, they can all be composable so that every new capability or pipeline um, can be composed and used by other developers within their pipelines and whatnot. That actually creates a huge network effect. And that's why would you want to build somewhere else that doesn't have all those pipelines and capabilities deployed? Why would you want to participate in another community with far less engagement and less support and less people and less innovation? And so it creates an actual opportunity to sort of get a lead and build and extend that lead in a bold new area where we're pretty well suited to have an advantage, because we have this live video stack, we have crypto economic incentives and public goods funding, and we are community oriented, from the get go. So that's why I think it's really exciting. Um, I do think it's interesting to recognize or ask the question, like, how does this change the live peer community, or how do we need to upgrade our community experience in order to actually succeed here? Because I think if you look at our community today, we have one of the strongest, most supportive, technically capable communities when it comes to like node operation and maybe like technical integration of sort of back end capabilities. But it's pretty crypto centric. It's very like Livepeer protocol and Livepeer software centric. Like what we don't really have is like the great entry point for the users or the creators or the tinkerers like on top of Livepeer. Yes, a bunch of them are in the community and they get a lot of support, but that's not really like the first class experience. Whereas here, if we're going to build a community of like hundreds of hacker tinkerers, developers, thousands of hacker tinkerers, developers that are experimenting with and creating real-time AI live pipelines, then that should be a pretty first class experience. Like when you enter our community, that should be what you see and what you get support around and what you're engaging around and what you're showing off and everything. And does that mean our like the channels that you land in change and you're welcomed in a different way and you see that content first? Yeah, probably. I think we have to figure that out. But I do think it's a big opportunity to, you know, level up the project growth by an order of magnitude if we get get momentum and keep growing from there. So I'll pause and throw that question back to you or to the community here listening on the call. Um, yeah, how's that sound? Is that scary, and are there concerns, or does it seem like a no-brainer opportunity? Are we worried about how that might change things here?
Yeah, does anyone have an opinion on the community side and community involvement of this roadmap? Anybody? I mean, just write it in chat if you want, but I'll speak from my perspective. I mean, I think that's the power of one of these crypto economic incentive mechanisms that's been built on top of Web3 and decentralized, trust systems, which is we can build communities that are basically independent of each other, but yet are all striving towards maybe some sort of common good, and therefore you build this community that actually can produce developers and help people and be a part of solving problems in this in a less top down approach way, which is really really exciting. So I mean, yeah, like when I first read about the importance of the community structure in the post, I was pretty excited because I think that is one of the core features that Livepeer is doing right. I mean, right now we're at it's not very often we get 30 people in the water cooler chat, and we're sitting around 31 people who are taking their time out of a Monday to come and chime in and listen and learn and be a part of the community. So I think it's just, really powerful, and I'm glad to see that it's a part of the kind of the focus of Livepeer Inc. and of the roadmap and all these kind of things.
Awesome. Yeah, I think like I'd also point out our current community is a great seed for this opportunity, right? Like I already mentioned, our AI video channel is very active. Our AI creations channel, our memes and showcase channels where people are tinkering with this stuff and showing it off. That forms like the great organic natural seed for this showcase for Cascade. So just really simply like imagine the playground goes live and there's 10 real-time AI pipelines in it, right? And there's a way for anyone to publish new ones. I'd imagine our community is already very well suited to like, play with live video, play with video, tinker around with these models and stuff, and to, quickly create and try out new pipelines and publish additional ones and share comments and feedback and showcase the inspirational outputs. And each one of those that's added and showcased is a new thing that can be shared, a new thing that can draw in more people from Reddit and Twitter and whatnot to come and try and do it themselves. And it creates a great opportunity to grow from there. And so I think as people cross the chasm, they come into the Discord and they say, hey, I'm trying to use this and here's what I learned, or how do I get support? And our community is already great at like supporting them and welcoming them and everything. I think we have a real opportunity to like, yeah, each person that you add is super powerful because that's another person that can share and show off the outputs and inspire more people and make this network more useful. So I think we have a great starting point.
Very good. John says, is John up here in chat? No, he's in the audience. He says, I think it is a great pivot for the Livepeer network. Since we began the AI initiative, I've always believed in the network effect of enhancing our live stream product with real-time AI features like object detection and speech transcription. We're also making great progress on real-time AI video, so this is an exciting time.
Awesome. Yes. Glad that like people see the sort of the logical next steps, how everything that we've built rolls up and contributes to this. Like, use the word pivot. I don't know if I love that word can mean different things, right? Like this is not a whole new shot on a totally new business opportunity that doesn't connect or leverage to everything we've done, right? Like this is very much like it all works because Livepeer has a real-time end-to-end, you know, streaming software stack and an infrastructure network with GPUs that performs transcoding and AI compute or AI inference, right? Like it's all built on that. But what I think the keyword for me is focus. Like instead of trying to be everything to everyone all of the time, the infrastructure for everything or the infrastructure for AI, of which you have hundreds of companies throwing billions of dollars at trying to do that. This is actually focusing, you know, Livepeer Inc. and the ecosystem and the SPEs and the, our community mods and everyone on where like one thing where we can really say, hey, we are the leader. We have a great platform and product that's differentiated. We have a community that's focused on this. And I think that that focus will be a very good shot at ultimately, you know, instead of sort of the slow and steady growth that we've had, picking up some like huge momentum, right? And seeing, the 10, 100x growth that you see when you have like something that really has fit and is new and has people banging down the door to access. So I think that the focus will be key.
Excellent. Okay, well, in that case, I think my other questions were around, like what models could we utilize in live video and, these kinds of things. Some are fast, some are slow. I think those are really technical questions that probably need more deep diving into the actual use cases. So I don't know if those can be answered. But yeah, that kind of covers all the questions I had. Doug, is there any other topic that you'd like to cover that we haven't covered so far?
I've been alluding to these things, but like just to hit them home, the sort of the winning outcomes for Livepeer. One is I think it's the opportunity to be like a market leader instead of a follower in a crowded space, right? Like uh, end-to-end streaming is a very crowded market, and yes, cost effectiveness is powerful. Decentralization can be powerful, but it's sort of hard to just show up and all of a sudden be a market leader there. Whereas here we can really be building ahead of all the other projects and companies out there making this bet on the future and establishing ourselves as a leader. So I think that's one exciting opportunity. The other is again just reiterating this network effect. Like with transcoding, for example, there's not much of a network effect. Like each new user that's using Livepeer transcoding doesn't make the network any more valuable for everyone else, right? Whereas with this community-oriented real-time AI pipeline approach, each new pipeline that gets added and deployed to the Livepeer network does make the network more valuable for everyone else because now that capability is now composable and usable with all of the other capabilities and pipelines on the network. And so, again, a lot of pipelines deployed on Livepeer versus available on other infrastructures. Why would someone go anywhere else, right? And then so they come to Livepeer, they add more capabilities there, and then Livepeer becomes even more valuable, and it sort of gets a lead. Same thing with the community of people supporting and iterating and building with one another. So yeah, big opportunity for a network effect, and then of course all that can lead to fee growth, which we all want to see as like the ultimate North Star. But even just community growth leads to decentralization because you have this innovative hacker, tinkerer, creator community that is going to see different use cases, build different things on top of, maybe even build businesses around it. That makes the project stronger and stronger. So excited about that. The one other thing I'd say is just from a product perspective, I think Titan, you were just getting at this. I do encourage people to ask the questions openly of the product team and to join Eric's presentation tomorrow. But I do think, okay, transcoding has been the main feature of the product for years. Unfortunately, I don't think a lot of people were like consuming just transcoding alone direct through the network. Like the product they were often consuming was, the end-to-end streaming through the Livepeer Studio. And so it wasn't like the network's core capability was the product that everyone was lining up for. I think, and that requires Studio to bundle a lot of different services together and build more things that sort of weren't the core value prop of the network. I think the whole focus with this, or the whole opportunity with this focus, is that the Livepeer network itself can be a super compelling product, right? Like the ability to deploy and run custom live AI pipelines on live streams can be a super compelling product. And I think the product that sort of Inc. team helps build on top is not so much commercial business opportunity that bundles together a million different things, as much as it is like what's the lightweight tool that you can build to access this core capability of the network, and you want the network itself to have this product market fit and this growth. And I think that's a much more sort of open product ecosystem oriented way to build, and will certainly be enforcing like the you know build in the open, and we have all these great development coordination calls and SPEs now, public goods funding. So a lot of this will be built with public goods funding by SPEs and by the community and the ecosystem coordinating together with the core team. And so I really think, again, we've taken so many steps in decentralization. I think this community oriented is going to help get us there. And I think this leads to much bigger opportunity for the network itself to be the killer product.
Excellent. Yeah, very well said. Awesome. Osman says, I can't wrap my head around this. Will Livepeer be able to do AI analysis on real-time video that hasn't been transcoded? Like it has to be bundled, right? Not sure what he means by that, but so this will be like an extra item in the package that Studio sells for extra. So transcoding is X dollars, and then transcoding plus AI analysis will be XY dollars. Is this correct?
Good question. So, yeah, if you think of a business like, Studio's end-to-end streaming platform or any other streaming platform that leverages these capabilities, yes, from a business perspective, like if they were charging for transcoding and delivery and storage, they price out all those services. And then yes, if they're charging for AI analysis, yeah, they would likely charge an additional price for that, right? I don't think of the Studio streaming platform as the center of the go-to-market for phase one or phase two of this Cascade proposal. I think the playground, which is a separate community-oriented tool entirely, is the center in those first two phases, and it is it's more about using or deploying the AI analysis or the creative AI models onto the network and using those capabilities of the network um, directly than it is about like them being bundled into a specific Studio product, which is certainly possible in the future. If you look at it, phase three, when this network is sort of scalable and reliable for the scaled usage in business-centric use cases, I think that sort of thing becomes possible. But I think the big opportunity for us to immediately see momentum and know that we like quote unquote fit or have something or have product market fit for the network is really focused on the sort of the growth in the community and the developer base of developers building and deploying these real-time AI pipelines and showing off the outputs and inspiring others and seeing the community grow a lot because there's a whole movement around sort of the innovation and people playing with this. That's what you saw with these AI communities around diffusion models and LLMs and Comfy UI, Hugging Face, Civitai, et cetera. It's like that community growth and momentum and innovation then ultimately in time leads to all those capabilities being integrated at scale into applications.
Hey, there we go. Great. Okay. Any last questions before we sign off the Q&A session? We've been at this for almost an hour, so I want to thank you, Doug, for taking the time out of the day to go over this. Any other questions we have from the community?
Awesome. Well, thank you, Titan. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Again, I think Eric's workshop, which is scheduled in the Discord for tomorrow, is going to be exciting, more detailed product share back on a sort of the starting point for us. I'd encourage everyone to join that. And yeah, ask away in the Discord anytime as you have questions about this. We're gonna have a lot of opportunities coming out for people to participate and build pipelines and learn to run these on their nodes and everything coming soon.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Doug. We appreciate the joining us today for the Q&A session. And yeah, feel free to stick around. We're just going to have a couple more topics. But yeah, thank you so much, Doug.
Sweet.
Okay, cool. Well, that's exciting. And for those that haven't seen it yet, please, I think in the link a little higher up, there's a mirror.xyz post that you can read about it. And also, if you have an Optimism wallet, you can, or any fees on Optimism, you can mint the NFT itself on Mirror. So grab a piece of Livepeer history and mint away. So let's continue on. Yeah, we just got two topics ahead of us. One was from Rick on funding open source research, and then the other one was stream spikes. So, Rick, do you want to tell us just a little bit about what this funding is and kind of your topic around funding open source research?
Yeah, of course. I think I first want to make a comment about the Cascade we just had. I just want to say that my team is fully behind it. We have been talking with ecosystem and Inc. For the last months already, and it makes a lot of sense to get this unique unique selling point from the Livepeer ecosystem to get this momentum going and to build this community to move quicker and get to where we want to be as an ecosystem with more fees, more general pipelines on network quickly. So really happy for the next phase of the AI network. Also, my group is also working on their proposal, has also been communicated with ecosystem as well. And that will also be out soon. But apart from that, on the OpenAI funding, so that's was an initiative that I started last week. Because one of the products that we built the AI network on in the last months, it has been asking for funding from the community, so to keep their software maintained. So one of my things there that I thought of was, can we use the AISPE funding to give them a budget per month to do the development, because we, in a sense, are built on top of their software. And the nice thing was that Jason immediately also, in that thread, he, I want to say hijacked, but he commented on it really quickly. I like this idea. Can we make an SPE out of this? An SPE that really looks at what software is the AI network, or even the transcoding network built on, and can we give back to this software? So that's one proposal that I wanted to discuss. I put it like a thread out. So the first thing there is that I would like to use $500 per month from the AISPE budget to provide this product with funding, so they can maintain it and keep building it. And if they implement new features, our network will become better, because there are some bottlenecks that have to be solved. And later, if Jason gets his SPE going, then we could hand it over to the SPE to do more bigger for product funding, for example, for FF Impact that has been discussed in the past. At that point, there were some bottlenecks, but we can look at it now with a third party in between that can, for example, pay in fiat by transforming the LPT from like a treasury postal to fiat. That might make it easier, and in that way give back to the software that we use.
Yeah, I like the idea of having an SPE dedicated to this. I think that would be a good way to have kind of some presence from the Livepeer ecosystem that can represent giving away the funding, as well as like can reference that the SPE for support or continued funding, or even to give credit to Livepeer for being a funder, they can kind of directly reference the SPE or the network in general, kind of whatever they want. But yeah, I really do think that's a great initiative.
Yeah, it's similar to, for example, what we try to do already with the bounty program, giving back to developers. I'm really happy with the new AI roadmap that we also focus more on like this community aspect. That can be like the builders that Doug have been talking about, but also of course the open source community. We already have a lot of dedicated people, but really small group currently of like more core orchestrators, more people that are more experienced in it. And if we can grow that building, that community as well, that would be nice. But this is giving back to the software that we use under it.
Cool.
So just in line with the whole idea of that we had with I think the community as well. So to giving back of all the players in our whole stack. So that can be researchers, that can be orchestrators, that can be applications building on top of it. So rewarding everybody for their contribution.
Excellent. So when is the SPE going to get launched?
Yeah, so my first question here was it's around this really small budget for I think it's only this month, so we will do a proposal ourselves in at the end of this month, and then of course the next phase for the AI SPE will begin after that, and also next year. And if you guys have questions, so that we can do it in another talk, or you can ask questions in the AI video chat. But so the first thing was then for the current immediate short term. Can we use the AISP budget? What do the orchestrators feel from that? What does the community feel for that? And after that, if Jason has finalized the SPE around this, the SPE can take this over. So just like a temperature check, I think, with the community on this topic. That's what I wanted to do. And I already saw that a lot of people upvoted this idea. I see that Navigare has one comment about this. Maybe Taddy, you can read it and
the question.
yeah, I see it in the chat. I'm trying to
It
look
says,
at it.
I can see this as a tool needed for work. If you need to buy a shovel to make yourself more productive, it is justified. But I do not think that budget would be a charity. If that brings value to to Livepeer, some functions implemented per request, then it is okay.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. So this immediate product, it's really used under the hood. So what it does, it translates our whole Fast API spec into a worker code that is used on the Go Livepeer stack. So it's really trivial to our current stack. So it's in the sense to show a shuffle so that we don't have to write all this code ourselves. But I see what you mean. So if we do this for every, so if the SPE from Jason gets funded, there is really this. I think this accountability to look at which products do make sense. How do you gonna vote it out? But I think that's something for maybe a next water cooler chat to get really a proposal out there. But I'm really excited about that idea myself.
Right. Osman says, I expect and wish for at least 3 SPEs for 3 different proposals. AI is so broad, so much potential for demand. Well, I mean, proposals and SPEs are tough in general. So I think the goal is to not just have a lot of SPEs, but rather just super effective SPEs.
Yeah, but yeah, I agree. So I get the point Osman is getting at. So it's really nice for decentralization and also for that we maybe have like this effective SPEs on the network. So we already have the cloud SPE, we have the LLM SPE, we have my group that has been kickstarting this with ecosystem, and we have Inc. And I think with this coordinator developer call, so this is related to I think the AI cascade that we just had. There's a lot of if we work together, we can really get a lot of work more done more quickly, more effectively, and it really becomes this community product. So yeah, I see multiple SPEs targeting the AI space. Not only my group, we saw Cloud already, and I'm really happy with Inc involved as well in this roadmap, and we have been working with them already on some AI real-time pipelines, and I myself with my team will share also our roadmap, which is really aligned to the roadmap from Inc as well. So one question from Osman was in the chat, I saw in the AI video chat, so will there be a full drop on support for the generative pipelines and the batch pipelines that we already have? So the answer is no, and Doug already answered that as well. So my group is still working with Supermodel. We're still working with StreamEat to have demand on the network while this AI video roadmap is being built. So we need this unique selling point. I agree with that for the future of the Livepeer, because if we get this right, we will be the market leader. We will be able to also do the other things, also take the other areas maybe, but we first need to get this momentum going. But we keep building with best providers like StreamEat, like Supermodel to get the demand on the network in the coming months already, while the AI real-time video scales. And also, for example, we keep working with partners like Flipkart to also ensure that the generative pipelines keep working, make it easier for people to add these pipelines. And also what I think is important to think about is that a lot of the stuff that Inc has been doing and we have been collaborating, it's not that if you focus on one area, we'll lose out on the other, because a lot of the core network stuff, for example, in selection, in payments, they will translate to beneficial outcomes for both the kind of jobs there. So also for the bets, but also for the AI real time. So it's not a lot of loss of resources there. If I understand the comment correctly, maybe I.
Right? Yeah, I think that covers a lot of it. Any last kind of comments or items around, you know, the funding of open source research and doing these types of things, Rick?
No, I think that said it all. I just wanted to put this idea out to the community. I think Jason will update us with a proposal for an SPE. In the meantime, I will ensure that our community already supports this Cheerful code for the AI network, and then we hand it over to Jason if the new SPE is formed.
Sounds good. Okay, let's move on to our very last topic, which is around stream spikes. For those that are orchestrating, just in the last few hours here, we saw a big spike in streams. I don't know if anyone else has been seeing that or have any comments on that. But yeah, my dashboard really spiked up here in the last 3 hours. Anyone else seeing that?
Yeah, I was saying the same thing. Are you seeing it right now?
No, it's kind of come back down. We're back down to earth. I posted a screenshot of what mine looked like, and basically, I spiked up to, there's about a 1 hour, maybe 2 hour period there where, you know, maybe Varies was down or something, and
Yeah, I got up to 80.
yeah, I was up to about 50. So Rick was bouncing up there. I think we all kind of saw it. I see Rick's is he actually hit his max limit. You can see the plateau at the top.
Yeah, I need to start building again.
Very says there's a thread that says the thing is there is no evidence. I think that's the title of the thread. So it's being discussed, it's being discussed there. So maybe we'll just keep it going in the thread.
Yeah, like a short TLDR is like that. Those don't seem to be real sessions. For example, if you look at the encoder or decoder usage or like the pixels that are being transcoded, it's like the amount of streams goes up, but everything else basically goes down. So it's like we're not sure yet if this is like a DDoS type of thing or just a misconfiguration. I think the latest thing that somebody noticed was that the segments are only like 30 milliseconds long. So basically there's no chance for an orc to even transcode them. So they get swapped around, and yeah. So basically this has been happening, I think, for the last 5 or 6 days or so. And it also crashes some server. I mean, my server went down. I think it's like an NVIDIA driver issue. Trying to fix that. Today it was stable. But yeah, just like it's not real traffic, so probably don't get your hope up.
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't see any ticket value increases on my dashboard, so there was didn't look like there was a monetary impact. It just looked like numbers were just going off the charts.
Yeah, I should probably check my pool to make sure I'm not like. Are we still getting tickets for those streams?
No, that's what I think he was saying, and that's what I'm seeing too. Is that I don't see ticket values going up, like received ticket values going up. So I don't think there's any actual payment or work going on. It just seems like some like phantom streams, if you will.
I'll have to just taking a peek. Looks like what am I seeing here? Just a lot of new pixels. Yeah, a lot of them don't seem. I can't really see much right now. But anyway, we'll continue the conversation in the thread. But yeah, my hopes did get up there for a bit. Pretty excited.
Well, I was worried because I had just recently upgraded to 079 because of the announcement Tom made. So I was wondering if it was related to 079, and I'm still debating the rolling back or not, but I don't know if it's going to make a much difference. It sounds like it probably won't.
I don't even think I upgraded to past 0.78.
I'm still on the old one as well, so it's not a version problem.
Oh, okay. I just happened to recently upgrade, and that's when I first started seeing this stuff. So, and I guess it's just coincidental.
Yeah, I can't see. Yeah, because I'm not upgraded either, so I'm wondering if those are from the studio, and if they are, I'm surprised that they're still coming to nodes that are below the minimum version.
Well, I don't think they forced the new version. I think they were planning on doing it, but I don't know if there was ever an announcement that said they actually implemented it.
I will say though that I'm just kind of looking at my my logs, and it looks like they were all like 2-second segments. Like I'm not seeing what Various was seeing with 30 millisecond segments. They all seem like 2-second segments. And my traffic, like on my standalone orc, the pool orc, it was seeing like proper traffic. Like it was seeing about 6 megabytes a second per stream. Like once I hit about 30 streams, I was doing 200 megabits up and down on the standalone O. So I don't even think that would be possible if you only had 30 millisecond like segments. Would it?
Yeah, for me it's the same. So I even get like fees for this. So maybe Virus got down, I got like normal streams. So I didn't get like the faulty streams that other people got. Interestingly enough.
I do see. Yeah. So they all came in. They're like a lot of these are 2-second, but they're all like 2-second single segment streams. Like it just kind of dies off after the first, even though it's being returned faster than real time. So, don't know. Cool. Okay, well, we'll continue the conversation in the thread, and we'll see what's kind of going on. It only happens between 1845 and 2000 UTC. Oh, so it's like maybe like a thing that just keeps happening regularly at a certain time interval.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
there are no
daily
logs.
around those times, yeah. And for that, if you just look at that specific time, I can clearly see like a drop in also the traffic that has been going in and out of my org. It's like really close to nothing.
Cool. Okay. Well, like I said, we'll continue the conversation in the thread as it goes on. With that being said, any other comments, questions that we want to cover before we sign off? Okay, well, we'll end it there. Thank you, everyone, for joining today's water cooler chat. Helping make Livepeer the open and decentralized video infrastructure for the world. It was great to have Doug and everyone else participate. This was also a really good turnout. We had I think peaked 31 participants in the water cooler, which is really, really cool. So thank you all for coming, and we will see you all next week. Cheers.
Thank you.